Switching over to Carlos. It saves a little bit of time punching into a scene, and you want to go ahead and take out Brad. So you want to go ahead and kill him. Depending on what you do with Brad, it will change the time save. You'll save a little bit of time if you let him bite you at a specific time, but we want to keep some more health, and it's not a huge time loss. It's like a second time loss to manually kill him. You don't need that right now, so we're going to go ahead and kill him. It's more important to have some more health, because this section will be, yeah, this section can be a bit tough for newbies, so that's why I don't really want you to take a bite from Brad.
Carlos, これ見てみろ。オフィスの場所が分かった。ここだ。いいか。バードはアンブレラ社の機密を握ってる。本人もただじゃ済まないと分かってるはずだ。
なるほどな。だから救助じゃなくて捕まえるのか。嫌な任務だな。
シャッターを開ける。そこから行け。
お前は警察署の現状を調べてくれ。
ああ、何か分かったら呼ぶ。
Alright, so you want to wait until that scene ends, and then you can go ahead and use the box. And when you use the box after that talk with Tyrell finishes, when he shows you the map, you've got a short window in which you can use the box, and whilst you're using the box, the shutter will open. So it basically gives you a chance to use the box for free without time loss, essentially. During that little scene, you want to use that opportunity to set up the inventory how you want it. I actually did it wrong there. What I want is this. So normally in my runs, I will not keep the handgun. So I'll be getting rid of the knife, handgun, and handgun bullets. And these first 3 slots, the first, the second, and the one below the first slot, the 5th slot, they will be empty. And then everything else will stay the same. The herb, the assault rifle, the assault ammo, that'll be all there. Like, I'll never move that. Because I'm doing this tutorial and you'll probably need the handgun for more ammo for the cabin, I'll keep the handgun for this tutorial. So that's why I've shifted it off to the side, because muscle memory, I'm not used to having it sitting there. Now run down here. Here's a zombie. So what you're going to do with this guy is punch cancel him. And then you want to quick turn into this room just as the blue zombie pops out. You want to pick up this flash, and we're coming out here. That was a bad door. Okay, now you don't want to stand right next to that door when you open it. You want to stand like 1 or 2 steps away. Otherwise Carlos will get stuck. And you're coming out here, and this is this spot. Okay. All right, let me explain what happens here. You're going to punch cancel this lady, and then you're going to try to run past to the left. Now, what happens with this spot is there's different patterns for so there's a large zombie in the back. You can see him. There's going to be a sleeping pattern, a slow, and a fast pattern. So depending on the pattern, your strategy will change. There's 2 ways of getting past. One is to bait the zombie on the ground, and then you'll run past, punch cancel the cop around the corner, and run past. That is 100% consistent. And then there's another strategy which you basically try and run and bait the larger zombie without getting bitten. Now, in terms of what strategy you should use, this is a really difficult one, because the baiting out of this guy, depending on the RNG that you get from the big guy, the position that you need to be in to bait out this zombie on the ground changes. If the large zombie has a fast pattern where he's walking right up. So if you punch cancel this cop here and the large zombie walks very quickly, almost to where you are, you'll need to stop in place where this zombie is, like almost on top of his head, and wait a specific amount of time, and then run to bait out this zombie before he lunges at you, and then you can run past. If you get the slow pattern or he's sleeping, then you run and then you stop a little bit closer to the corner. So the position that you stop at actually changes. In terms of running past, without baiting out this zombie in the ground, it only works when the zombie is far enough away from you. So if he's sleeping, it will not work, and it will only work if he's walking slowly, if you stop momentarily. If he does like a fast pattern, it will work if your movement is correct. So if your movement is perfect, then you'll be able to run past. What should you do as a beginner? If you don't get the bait right with this ground zombie, he'll grab you, and that'll be a huge problem because the zombie will come and judo you on the ground, and your run won't die, but you'll make this, you'll be in a lot of trouble, right? You'll lose a lot of time, and then you'll be in this really awkward position. On the other hand, if you try and run straight away after punch canceling this lady and you get bitten on the back by this large zombie, then all you'll get is a backbite and you'll still be able to run past. So it's a much less risk by doing that than trying to bait out the zombie on the ground. The only problem is it's not 100% consistent depending on the pattern. So what I suggest is erring on the side of running early and not being late, because if you stand too long where the zombie on the ground is, he will grab you. So it's better to run early. Even if you take a bite from the zombie, it's better to run early and take the bite than to get bitten by this guy on the ground. Even though by baiting out this zombie, it prevents getting bitten like 100% of the time if you do it correctly. Obviously, you need to change it for the pattern, but it'll be 100% consistent if you know how to do it right. Whereas running past is not 100% consistent. The only time that I would not recommend running straight away after punch canceling the cop is if the zombie is in a sleeping mode. So if he's in a sleeping mode, you will have to bait out this zombie in the ground. Like, you will have to bait out this zombie. Otherwise, when you run to the corner, this other zombie will come out and try to attack you. That's a lot to take in. So what I'm going to do is show you a few examples, and that'll hopefully solidify how this works. So punch cancel. Now here he walks far enough that I can run straight away. But I'm going to show you, like, if he doesn't run far enough, boom, you get bitten. Okay, so that was very subtle, like very difficult to figure out whether I could run past. So that's why I'm saying that's inconsistent. You could see there that after I got bitten, I could just run straight past. So that's the good thing. I'm still able to run past, even if I get bitten. Now here, I try and go. Again, he walked far enough that I can run straight past. That pattern was a faster pattern. Now here, he's walking too close. If he's too close, you will not get past. Now here he's walking and he's way too close there. So you can see how he's kind of walking more towards the left. When he's doing that walking towards the left and he's not moving far enough right, usually he will almost always grab you as you try and run past. But then you can run past straight away. So that is the benefit there. In that situation, he bit me so far away from that cop, I had to punch cancel him to make sure I didn't get bitten. So that's another thing you need to keep in mind. Okay, this is a... Okay, so that's one of the strategies I was talking about. If I ran straight away there, he would have grabbed me. But because he was too far forward, right? That pattern, I couldn't have ran past. I paused momentarily and it gave me just enough time to be able to run past. That's a very specific timing, right? And it's not consistent, right? Whereas here, the same situation, if I pause a little bit longer, I'll bait out that zombie on the ground, and then all I have to do is punch cancel that cop. So I'm baiting out that zombie on the ground so the big guy doesn't aggro, so that means I have to punch cancel the cop. That is 100% consistent if you know the timing. Okay, now this is sleeping. So now this is a sleeping pattern. If you try and run past, this zombie gets you, okay? So I have no idea how I didn't get absolutely destroyed there, but so the only way to get past in this pattern is to stop. And what I did there is stopped, baited out the zombie on the ground. That timing there is is just something that you need to practice. So to recap on that section, there's sleeping pattern, in which case you need to bait the guy on the ground, otherwise you won't be able to run past. A slow and a fast walking pattern. If he's walking far enough and he's to the right, you can run past. It's not 100% consistent. If he hasn't walked far enough, then you can run past, but you will get bitten. On the other hand, you can still run past and you'll still be able to continue the run. If you time and aim, you'll be able to bait out the zombie, and that will be 100% consistent. However, if you stand too long on the zombie on the ground, you will get attacked, right? What you should do, in my opinion, is in the sleeping pattern, you'll run to the corner, aim to bait out the zombie, and you should always do that. On the other two patterns, it's better to err on the side of caution, right? So you can try and bait out the zombie on the ground, but if you're not too sure on how long to wait, always just run early. And if worst case happens where you get bitten on the back on the way past by the big zombie because you went too early, then that's still okay, because you should still be able to run past and continue the run. Okay, now here you're picking up this key and you're coming downstairs. You want to make sure this zombie is dead, otherwise he'll drop down and block you on the way out, so you want to make sure he's dead. And you want to throw this grenade just before these zombies are able to bite you. Be careful at this door, sometimes a zombie is blocking it, so you need to be mindful of that. When you punch this keypad, you want to hit the right side of it. That means that you can run out of it without having to change your line. And you pick up this battery. So I'm kind of moving one locker to the left before I pick up the battery. If your movement was good, you will get past all of these zombies without them waking up. And then you're going to get to this steps and the licker will try and hit you. Okay, so what did I do there? Now, that licker will try and do a fast or a slow scratch. If he does that sort of a scratch, a slow one, I time a punch just when it makes a sound, and I punch up the steps, and I punch cancel, and that will avoid the scratch. If he does a fast scratch, then you time it when he makes the sound, and you'll punch him in the face. I don't think there's a way of manipulating which type of scratch that he goes for. He'll either go for his fast or slow scratch. As long as you time the punch correctly, you'll always be able to either hit him or dodge the scratch. Whether you get a dodge or a slow scratch is completely RNG. Sometimes he will try and attack you early. That will usually come down to poor movement earlier. Be aware of that. Like, as soon as you come out of that door, if you hear the yelling sound from the licker, that means he's going to attack you early. You need to be ready for that and make sure you're ready to punch him. That's obviously unfortunate. Now, you do have herb. Well, you should have a herb in case you do get hit. And there is also another herb up here in the shower room, in the locker room. There'll be a herb to the right here as I come into this door. So if you do get hit, it's okay. You can still continue. Use the herbs if you need them. And you're going to enter CAP at this locker and take this flash grenade. And we got a C4 here. So you come to the right here and toss a grenade on the ground, and then the zombie will try and bite you, and then the flash will cancel that, and you'll be able to run straight through. And you want to run to the left of this licker and straight to the stars room. Now, let's say you got a situation here where the door is blocked and you can't get through, punch. And that'll clear a path, and then you can run straight through. Now we're swapping to Jill. Again, that's a situation you need to pre-tilt to interact with the handle. Otherwise Jill will just go straight past it. Now here you're going to pick up both sets of mine round ammo, and then you want to drop off the handgun, the key, and that any additional herbs that you might have. Everything else stays the same, and then you're going to pick up those two weapons, the shotty and the grenade launcher. Shotgun this guy and then dodge towards the ladder. Make sure you do that quickly, otherwise the guy behind you can catch you. You can do a few dodges. This saves a small fractional amount of time. Alright, so the Nemesis 2 fight. The first strategy that I'm going to do is 2 cancer shots. So the first, I'm picking up this flame rounds and I have to hit that shot. I made a separate video about how to time that, but you need to go over to the heart here, hit 2 shots, upgrade your shotgun, and then shoot the last 6 shots. And as soon as he gets up and he's ready to roar, you want to shoot that flame round to cancel that. And then you want to use a mine round there. You're picking up both shotgun shells. You want to shoot 5 shells into the heart and then 1 around where the neck is. His health should be around 41%. You don't want it below 40%. If it's below 40%, this strategy will not work. You want to make sure that you practice this so that you're not getting him below 40%. So here it's at 40.6. So that's actually really good. I want it as low as I can without going below 40. If you shoot 6 shots in the heart, it will go below 40. So that's why you want to shoot 1 shot in the neck or somewhere around there so that you don't apply the full damage. And then I'm standing a couple of steps away from him, and then I wait until the mouth opens up, run backwards, run back a little bit more, shoot the flame round just as he gets off the ground, and then I shoot 6 shots here, reload, and reload cancel, shoot the flame round. So you should know about reload cancel, have that in a separate video. If that is a little bit hard, there is a slower strategy that you can use, which starts the same, but this strategy will lose 4 or 5 seconds, so it'll be significantly slower. But if you're having trouble with the cancer shot for now, or you can't get that consistently for now, you can do this for now, and then once you get better, you can do the other strat. So there I'm pushing into Nemesis and he jumps backwards. So that's really important technique that you need to learn, is running into Nemesis to make him jump backwards. That's something that you also use on the Nemi 3 fight. If you miss the cancer shot, so this is what you want to do. You're going to shoot 3 shots and then start laying into him. And you want to start making your way over to where the bus is, right? I get him below 70% and then he does that, and I shoot a flame round and shoot a mine round. So from here on in, it's essentially the same idea with the fight. I'm picking up these 2 shells, I'm going to shoot him in the heart, and this all basically follows the same formula. Technically you can do the other cancer shot with this fight as well. I'm not doing it in this one. And it's the same thing. I'm pushing into him, shooting that mine round there, and then I'm going to finish him off here. You need to pick up these 2 mine rounds before you enter this scene. And now we're Carlos again. Okay, so we're in the hospital, which is always a fun section. Alright, this is going to be fun.
入る。バーダーだ。
You want to punch this lady and then kill her on the way out the door. You want to make sure that she is dead. Do not leave her alive. And then pick up this tape. Okay, with this lady on the ground, you want to kill her. Make sure she's dead. And then turn this corner. Now, there's a big zombie there. If he follows you as you run past and he doesn't catch you, then that'll actually put him out of the way when you come back to the room. So that's ideal, is having that guy chase you without getting you. In that situation, he didn't go after me, so that's bad. Sometimes it'll change his pattern. Sometimes it will be in a bad spot. Sometimes it won't. It comes down to how fast you kill the lady. If you take too long with the lady, usually the big zombie will walk off. He won't chase you, so that's not ideal. So you want to make sure that the kill on the lady is quick, and then if you can help it, have the big zombie chase you. But sometimes you can't help it. There, in that situation, he didn't follow me. It's not the end of the world, but keep that in mind later on, that he might be in the way because you didn't do the pattern properly. Now, when I punched that door, I needed to wait a little bit longer, because if you try and interact with that door as soon as Carlos punches it, you'll get a glue door like that. So you need to wait like a fraction of a second. This part is pretty self-explanatory. You just follow what I'm doing here. Pick up this card. Okay, now you're going to come to his locker and pick up the flash grenade. Okay, now with this hunter, look up and then look down just as you get to the door. The hunter will not scratch you. Changing your direction of where you're looking can alter the hunter AI, and sometimes they won't attack. In that situation, you look up and the hunter will not scratch you. Now you use the key card here. When you punch that door to use the item, you want to aim for the middle door. You want to wait until the last part of the punch animation to interact with the door. And then when you enter the door, you want to tilt the mouse left slightly so that you don't get a glue door. Okay, so this room has 2 hunters. This room can be a trouble room for a lot of people, including myself. There's going to be a pattern where the hunter jumps on the bed, and then there's a pattern where the hunter runs straight. Most of the time, about 60% of the time, it's going to be the bed RNG, so that's the majority of the time. I'll show you what the line I use for that is. So when I come out this door, I aim, and this gets the hunter to jump like that. And then I'm going to look up, and I'm basically tracing a line as I'm looking up, and I'm curling around that hunter there. If I don't see him running straight, I know he's jumping on the bed. I pivot around him, pick up this tape, and then I run backwards. I'm tracing a line towards the wall, and I'm using the blood spatters on the wall to guide me. You hit the wall, grind the wall, and then bounce off, and then go to this door. It's a very weird, specific line, but that's what works, right? And going around this hunter, picking up the tape. How do I know where the tape is? Well, just practice it. And then grinding the wall a little bit and then bouncing off. If you're not confident with that, you can throw this grenade like that, turn around and then roll it into the corner. And then you want to run on the left side and you can get past. If you get scratched. So here my movement was a little jerky and my line wasn't right. So if your line is not right, that'll happen. You'll get scratched. What you want to do in that situation is punch cancel. If you punch cancel after the second scratch, you will be able to get out of it. It'll be a very minor time loss, so it's actually not that bad. Obviously, it's not ideal. You prefer not to take a scratch at all, but it's much better than getting any other kind of attack. Like there's another attack that the hunters use where he does like a lunging straight. That's really bad. That'll push you into the corner, block you, and then you'll be stunned significantly. Whereas with those light scratches, if you can punch cancel it, it is less severe of a time loss. This is the straight RNG. So you can see the hunter behind is running directly at me. In that case, I run to the left, take a really tight line, and then I'll run backwards and go towards the middle and then straighten up. And then usually I'm able to run past like that. This one is a little less consistent, I've found. It is the fastest line that I've found, right? And even if that happens, I can punch cancel. That is still much better than trying to take this really wide line and then losing so much time anyway, right? Again, if you don't want to try running past, you can throw the grenade there into that corner and then run past to the left. So again, run to where the blood spatter is, grind, and you get the idea by now. Coming through this door. Sometimes I like to pause to see where the zombies are. Now, you're going to have this big zombie. Like I said before, whether he chased you or not will change where he is. If he didn't chase you, sometimes he can be at this corner and be blocking you, in which case you'll need to shoot him. And there's two other male zombies that can be very randomly placed. I don't know if there's a way to manipulate their position, or it seems to be purely random. So if these other two male zombies are in the way, one will stand around here at the corner and one will stand near that door. That seems to be purely random. Doesn't seem to happen that often. It seems to be really a very rare pattern. Usually they will be in this corner, and then it will only be this large zombie that you'll have to worry about. And if you baited that zombie, then usually he'll be out of the way. Okay, now I'm using the mouse to combine the tape and the tape recorder. You want to combine from the first item, so the first item slot is taken away. If you combine it the other way, then that first slot will not be taken away, because you're putting the tape in the recorder so that the first slot is opened up, and that way this vaccine will go into that first slot, which you want. Okay, now coming into this door. This room here is extremely unpredictable. You can open this door, and as soon as you open the door, you can get attacked by 1 or 2 zombies. And there is literally nothing that you can do, as far as I know, to prevent that. I even tried for a long time to run past that lady in the room to try to manipulate this room to be consistent, but even that didn't work. The zombies just do whatever they like, basically. There's nothing you can do about it. So I'm going to open this door, and straight away we can see zombies standing right at the door. So this is just bad luck. This is why I prefer keeping the flash grenade for this section, because this section is way more risky than the hunter room. The hunter room, even if you get the line slightly wrong, you should be able to get out with a punch cancel, and it's less risky. The other room downstairs is slightly risky, but it's very rare that it's a problem. This room, on the other hand, it is possible to bait a zombie if he's back turned at the door. If you hit him at a specific angle at his back and then turn very sharply, but that is not something I would I would say is consistent. So you want to use the vaccine. Okay, and we're punching into this scene and it's the cabin. Pick up this detonator and that will go into the first slot. So make sure you pick that up and then go ahead and start taking out these zombies. So this section is relatively straightforward. You can see on the SRT all the enemy health bars, and that will tell you how many enemies are currently standing, and you want to make sure that you kill them as quickly as possible. Now this time for this entire section is fixed, so you cannot complete the section faster, but if you do not clear all the waves before the shutters completely close, then you will lose time on this entire section. So you want to make sure that you're avoiding that. That's the only thing that you need to avoid. And there's going to be waves that are the exact same, so that sometimes they take a little bit longer or shorter to come out of their windows, but they will come out of the same orders. There's these 4 windows, and obviously comes down to watching all 4 windows and keeping an eye on things. One other thing to keep in mind here is your inventory. As you can see here, I only have 1 slot. You want to make sure that you have 1 slot free for the grenades. You will need the 3 grenades in the other room. After this zombie is dead, the grey shirt, you can come into this room. Don't touch that hunter. Don't try and hit him as you go through, because he will turn around and slice you. So don't hit him. I made that mistake once and then lost a run. You want to start shooting these. So you'll have 2 grenades, and you'll need to save 1 grenade for the end for a hunter. So make sure whatever you do, don't use both grenades. And now here, there's going to be 2 parasite heads on either side, so you want to make sure that you take them out, because if you don't take out the parasite heads, they will walk around and they can be a huge problem. So make sure you take out those. Prioritize taking out them. In this spot, I like to throw a grenade. I threw it way too early there. Usually I wait until all these zombies come out and then I throw the grenade and I get all of these zombies dead. Okay, this zombie is hiding in the corner. Try and keep up with these kills. There's some more ammo over in this box, which I'll pick up right now. This is the final 3 zombies. So there's 2 zombies here, 1 zombie on the right. And then you want to make sure you're paying attention, because now this hunter comes out at a certain point when the shutters are closing. So you want to keep your eye out for the shutters, because even if the zombies are still alive, the hunter will come out at the exact same time. So always pay attention to that hunter, otherwise you can have problems. Don't try and kill him with an assault rifle, because it will take forever. This is straightforward. Make sure the zombies are all subdued with the generator, and then you can go ahead and throw a grenade. Very straightforward. Now if you pause after that scene, you'll remove some time bleed. You want to wait in the bed here as Jill is waking up until the enemy's health has appeared on the screen. That seems to save a fraction of a second. Dodging towards this, and notice how I pre-tilt towards that door. You need to tilt in a certain way to make sure that you don't come out of that scene and get a glue door. And these dodges right here, you do not need to do these, but they are going to save a little bit of time because those doors are heavy doors. Heavy doors and the combination of Jill being in fine, that's why those dodges are useful. And here I'm using up all of that handgun ammo in the first slot. So this is the opportunity, and what this does is it opens up the first position, and that first position will be used for the fuse. So this is a really useful method of keeping that first slot open. And you want to pick up the pouch here, dodge into this door. You don't need to dodge, but it's a slight optimization to dodge through the door there. And make sure you're mashing as you press this button. Sometimes it does not press if you're not mashing. And you want to dodge 3 times to this. I've seen some people shoot the guy before he falls down. You don't need to do that. And here, okay, so what happens here is there's 2 RNG. He's either standing up or he's laying down. Most of the time, he's going to be standing up, in which case you stand right next to the console. If you aim and put Jill into stationary position, then he'll bite you, and you wait until it ticks over to 720 and then punch him off. If you are moving at the same time as him biting you, if you're moving around too much, what will happen is he'll bite you, and then you'll automatically push him off before you go into caution. And you want to go into caution at this point to save a bit of time. Also, you make some of the sections a little bit easier because it'll help with your movement. I'm doing this again to show you the different RNG. So this RNG where he's laying down, what you do here is you turn around, and yeah, this action prompt input type, you can switch to hold to make sure that he puts you into caution. So you want to go into caution, right? So I wait until he pushes me into caution, and then I hold, and that will get him off. So if you get that RNG, you lose 3.5 seconds at least. There's nothing you can do about that RNG. If you get that RNG, you need to accept that time loss and move on. Now here, you want to dodge towards the left side of the box, position Jill properly, and then dodge left like that, and that will get you to the ladder. And these dogs, I triple dodge. These dogs, I've never gotten bitten by these dogs, at least as far back as I can remember. Now come around this corner, you can dodge the zombie to the crack. Now you can also use the shotgun if you like. If you don't do that pause, Jill will start moving in a really weird way out of that crack, so you want to pause. And here we're doing an aim dodge, aim 2 dodges. If you find that difficult, you can do a manual dodge. Dodging twice here. Okay, so the warehouse is a fairly straightforward section, but it is technical, can cause problems. You want to pick up this fuse and make sure you're moving to the right to make sure the zombie cannot catch you. At this point, I change into the mine rounds, and I'm going to come through this door and try and shoot this zombie as he's getting up. So as this zombie is getting up, I'm going to try and shoot him in the head. If you hit him in the head and he will fall back and stagger the pale head, it's not 100% consistent. If you hit him in the body, he'll fall back and take out the zombie, but the pale head won't be staggered. In that case, I recommend shooting the pale head with the shotgun to stagger him, and then picking up the 3-pack of shotgun rounds to the right. Now in this tutorial, I aimed for him, and the way the mine rounds work is they're very RNG. There's a lot of bloom, you could call it, where it will go in a variety of directions around the center. So in that case, I aimed for the zombie on the ground, but the mine round went past him. So this is the worst case scenario. If this happens, pick up the shotgun shells and then go on. It's a bad case scenario because we're putting the pale head near the door, and we want to not have that happen. And with this hunter, as soon as it looks at you, you want to aim whilst you're on the left side of the screen, and that'll force it to jump. Very rarely it will try and attack you, usually when you're on a good run, and you want to dodge in that case. Now here, because the pale head, I had to dodge into that door and aim to make sure he wasn't in the way. For some reason he's sleeping, so if you stagger him with the shotgun, usually he won't be in the way. Now here, when you shoot the mine round, you want to hit this one on the left, this parasite head. This is the most important one that you want to hit. Come down here and you want to aim this triple dodge towards the fuse box, very specifically. Tilt Jill and then start mashing the interaction keys straight away. Like, you need to mash them very aggressively as you tilt, and then use all the fuses and then hit the button there. Switch to flame rounds. Okay, Tyrell boost. How to do a Tyrell boost. You want to stand on the left leg, slightly on the left, and as soon as you can, you want to run straight. And as soon as Jill starts to slow down, as she hits like the checkpoint, I guess you can call it, you're dodging 3 times straight and then curling around Tyrell. Do 3 more dodges, then 1 step forward and shoot the flame round into you, and that will give you the Tyrell boost. Okay, so yeah, make sure you're standing on the left side of Tyrell to do that. I swapped the flame rounds back out with the mine round with the grenade launcher so that I could open up the first slot again, and that meant the USB could go in the first slot. You want to use the shotgun on this guy and run on through. There's a herb to the left there. I recommend grabbing that. Make sure you're holding the button as you go towards that, otherwise Jill can let go. And then I'm holding left and up and leaving the section there. You want to be careful because there's a zombie behind you. If your movement is a little sloppy, sometimes he can grab you, so be aware of that. Okay, we're going to this elevator here. You don't need to do those dodges, obviously. It's kind of muscle memory at this point. We're coming here, so run to this right corner, shoot this zombie, and then as the tentacle face is opening up, you want to shoot a mine round out the foot, and that's all you need to get through. You don't need a shotgun on the way out. Now, that was slightly bad, so I'm doing this again. This is more how it should look. So you want to shoot him there, and that's what you want. You want all those things to fly out. Wait until he opens up, shoot at the foot. You can run out just like that. So the good thing about that strategy is you don't use any shotgun shells. Shotgun shells management is pretty important at this point. You don't want to run out. Okay, so you want to shoot Now you can shoot a mine round at this tank here where this hunter is. You don't have to shoot a mine round at the ground. I'm just used to shooting it at the ground. Put this pre-mine down and then you run towards this. Now with this hunter here, you want to hit him in the nose. That will force him to fall backwards. If you hit him in the hand, he'll fall forwards, and that will mean that the second mine round you shoot won't kill one of the hunters. So that's really bad. You don't want that. So once you shoot him in the nose, you're going to mine round cancel, shoot again, and then you're going to make sure this guy's dead. You can either use one shell or you can use another mine round. I think a mine round is better because you probably want to conserve the shotgun. But if you do it like that, those two hunters will die. Okay, now this spot here, you have two pale heads, one on the ground, one in the left corner, and then a zombie around the right here. So you can run on past, but it's a little bit dodgy for beginners. So you want to shoot a mine round. There's two ways of doing it. One is here, and if you aim it in the right spot, all three of those will be hit, and you'll be able to run past. And then you want to shoot this guy with a shotty. Okay, now when you come down here, be very, very careful. You want to shoot a mine round at these enemies, right? As you're coming down the steps, sometimes there's another pale head either crawling or walking around, which you won't see, and then they'll come attack you at the last moment. So you want to be careful of that and keep an eye on the left to make sure that this is not happening. So you want to be very careful as you're coming down those steps, because sometimes you'll come down the steps and one of the pale heads will crawl over and grab you by the foot, or there'll be a pale head that will literally come out of nowhere and grab you. So you want to make sure that you're keeping an eye out on the left so that doesn't happen. So you combine those two samples and then it's mid, high, low. And you'll notice that because I put them in the first two slots, 1 and 2, it made combining those things much easier. You need at least 2 flame rounds to complete this fight. So if you don't have 2 flame rounds, you can grab that pack of 6 there. However, you can also pick up the flame rounds to make this fight a little bit more safer. Okay, so out of this scene, I'm pausing I'm pressing right and I'm pausing, and what will happen is the camera will continue to drag, and I'm waiting until the camera drags towards the left arm, and then once that happens I let go and then I shoot, and then it hits on the left arm. And you want to hit the left arm. That's the best way to hit him, so that you're not walking into flames, because if Jill stands on flames, it will trigger a very annoying animation where she's trying to wave off the flames, so you don't want that. You come to Nemesis and you shoot 6 shots. So either he will stagger or he won't. In that situation, he doesn't stagger. Usually if you're standing next to him, he'll do that spinning, which you'll need to run backwards. Come back towards him, push into him, and he'll jump backwards. And then I've got a really easy, straightforward shot to get him down. And he needs to go down to 80% for this first scene to trigger. Then out of this, you're going to shoot another flame round at the left arm, preferably. Shoot 5 shotgun shells, and now you turn around, and in this left mound there's some more shells. You want to grab that. Then you want to shoot this zombie right there with either flame round or mine round or whatever you've got available. Because I have the extra flame rounds there, I'm shooting a flame round before he falls down. You don't have to do that. That's not essential, but it's helpful for beginners because gives you a little bit more damage into him, and it will help you make sure that you finish this fight. So that's an optional thing. You want to shoot 6 shots into this heart fairly quickly, and then you want to reload 4 shells at least. Shoot 4. Other thing is you want to wait until he gets up and start stomping, so don't shoot him too early. Otherwise, if you shoot him too early as he gets off the ground and he didn't start thinking about his stomping animation and he staggers, then he'll get up and then he'll do this giant whip attack, and that'll be really bad. So you want to wait like a fraction of a second there. So you shoot the 4 shots, run backwards, then you run forward slightly as after he misses, and then you shoot the remaining. Now in this spot here, you're trying to get him down to about 23, 24. Don't shoot him all the way down. You want to minimize your chances of staggering him, because what happened here is he got staggered, and if he does that, he'll go to this tank 2, and if he goes to this tank 2, he's going to jump over to tank 8, and this loses 3 or 4 seconds. What you need to do when he jumps on the tank is get him down below 20%, and that will mean that once he falls down from the acid, he'll be dead. So he's at 17% here, so I already know he's done. As soon as he falls down, the fight is over. One other thing to keep in mind is his tank that he jumps to is RNG. So normally in the first phase, he'll run to tank 5, but very, very rarely he'll run to either 1 left or 1 right. So rarely he'll go to tank 4 or tank 6, which is 1 left or 1 right of tank 5. I want to say it's like less than 5% chance that he does this. So it is rare. You're just going to have to continue the fight as normal, and it will affect the times slightly of how fast you finish the fight, but it is very rare. You can't really predict that. The other thing that can happen is when he does that last jump at the end, he'll run around and do a cycle and either jump from tank 2. If he jumps from tank 2, he's going to tank 8. In that situation, he can also go to tank 7 or tank 1. So he can go in 1 tank to the left or right in that situation as well. And again, there's nothing you can do about that. You're just going to have to take the time loss and move on. Okay, he staggers here. So what I do is I push into him and then I shoot him again. If you run backwards when he staggers, he will try to do a massive lunge, and that'll be dangerous. So that's why I run forward and make him jump backwards. It's a lot safer. You can also use the burst pistol and shoot him twice in the head if you're running low on shoddy. So here it's the same thing, shooting 6 in the heart, reloading at least 4, wait very slightly, shoot 4, run away quickly, then when he hits the ground I walk forwards, shoot him. So here I stopped shooting him because he went down to 22, 23, and the reason I do that is because I'll be able to apply the rest of the damage I need to once he's on the tank, and that's safer because I don't want to stagger him, because if he gets staggered, he's going to decide to go to tank 8, and that'll be a time loss. Dodge into this if you need some more ammo. There's a couple of handgun bullets here. There's also a first aid spray if you're in danger or something. But there was also a first aid spray in that room just before this fight. So this is a good RNG. He'll lift his hands like that, and you want to run over, shoot these 2 balls, and then you use the shoddy on those 2 balls. And you have to hit it at a specific angle. This is a bad RNG fight. So he's going to lift his hands aggressively. So you need to dodge, and then you basically continue the fight as normal. Shoot the 2 balls and those 2 balls, and then you continue the fight as normal. So there's nothing you can do about the hammers. The chance of this happening is at least 30%. There is a very, very rare pattern. He does a sweep. It's the same idea. You need to dodge the sweep and then you can shoot the balls. These quick time events aren't very complicated, they're very basic mashing. And then you'll always start at the lower left leg, I've found. So yeah, you'll start at the lower left, so you need to tug upwards slightly and to the right and then shoot him. You can actually wait there, and if you want to wait, that's pretty much it. That's the run. As you can see there, even though I'm using pretty basic strats, you can still get a really good time. If you do have any more questions, leave them in the comments below. But otherwise, good luck.